From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Welcome into Northeast Current on the ION Network. My name is Holly Golembeski, and we're here today with PennDOT because it's going to be back to school, and public safety, driving safety is extremely important. So I'd like to welcome James May and Michael Toludo. Thank you so much for being with us, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're standing at a place where in about a year from now you won't want to be standing because this will be a very, very busy intersection. But it's good to be here with you today.
It's great because there's so many great things happening on 81, and you know the estimated time of this all being completed from when it started, it's coming up next year.
And let me say that I'm very glad that you said there's a lot of great things happening on 81, because many times, because of the construction, all people tend to focus on sometimes is the fact that there's tie-ups and there's sort of the negative side of construction. But whenever there's construction, that also means that there's progress and there's good things happening. And one of the really good things that is happening is right here where we're standing. This is the Airport Avoca Interchange project, and this is a really, really exciting project. I think it's going to be a good project for those of us who live here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
James, what exactly do you do for PennDOT? What is your position?
I am the Community Relations Coordinator, also serve as Press Director, kind of same type of thing, a little bit different title there on stuff. So basically, to make sure that we try to communicate to the public what it is that PennDOT is doing.
And what is PennDOT doing?
Well, we're doing a whole lot of stuff right now on Interstate 81. As we mentioned before, this is our the Avoca Interchange project. This project will be done in about a little over a year from now. We're looking at the fall of 2015, completing this. Three aspects to this, the reason that we're doing this. First, it is a safety improvement project. Anybody who has traveled this portion of Interstate 81 knows that when you're getting on and off at the airport here, you have some very short lanes. You're coming down at about 65 miles an hour, and very quickly you pull over and you try to slow down real fast to make that loop. Because of that, and then also when you're getting on, you have a very short on-ramp to 81. So there have been crashes out here, and it's a safety improvement project just for people coming into 81. The other aspect of it is that it's a economic development project. We are taking a road. This road eventually will head through here and go back to a new road that we're putting in back behind us. That will go all the way back to an industrial park. So anytime you can have roads that go into an industrial park, it's a good way to bring economic development and commerce to the area. So that's one aspect of it. So you have the safety aspect, you have the economic development, and then it's also traffic mitigation. And that confuses a lot of people because they look and they say, you know, there's not that much traffic going to the airport. And that's not what we're trying to alleviate. What we're trying to do, down a little bit south from here, the exits at 175, where you're getting off there in the Pittston-DuPont area, that's the traffic that we're trying to bring up this way. And a lot of the trucks that are now getting off there and going through Avoca, going through DuPont, going through some of those little boroughs down in there, we want to be able to bring those trucks up to this area. So in some ways, we're trying to bring traffic to this area from down there. Right now, they're going through towns and villages, and that's not a good thing. But we think if we can complete this road and then bring the trucks up to here, that way we can get them out of those towns and villages from back there. So it's a safety improvement project, it's economic development, and it's traffic mitigation for the folks down in the Pittston-DuPont Avoca area.
When was this started? What exactly was the month and the year? Was the project started last year? I actually forget.
It was started. Do you remember the exact time we were out here?
Yeah, last summer we were out here doing the groundbreaking.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
we came out, and then we've done a number of things. State Representative Mike Carroll,
yes.
We came out with ION TV, and we did an event with him last summer. I don't remember the exact month that we were out here, but it's been going for about a year now, and we have about 15 months left in the project.
Well, something that we really need to highlight is safety in work zones and safety overall, and I'm a little jaded because I was telling you before the show that my dad worked for PennDOT. He's retired from PennDOT. So whenever I'm in a construction zone, I always go below what I'm supposed to, and some people are just so aggressive in those areas, and you know, you have to think that they are somebody's father, somebody's mother, somebody's brother, sister, you know. So public safety, very, very important, especially in work zones.
And I'll let you talk about this as well, but yeah, obviously the speed is a factor, but there's also a number of other things. I know, Mike, one of the things you've been talking about is the white line down the middle of the road, and then also headlights on.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're going through the work zone, you do not cross over. If the white line is solid,
right,
you have to stay in that lane.
Right.
and follow the signing. Be careful and reduce your speed, and don't be distracted, and be aware of your surroundings going through there. You really don't want to hit a construction worker.
No, you don't. You don't want to do that. And yeah, I've noticed that too, the solid line versus the broken line, and people are switching over all the time.
Right.
And you know, something else that's difficult is the tractor trailers are supposed to be in the left lane, if I'm correct.
Well, it varies. In this area, we do have signs out here, and that's thrown a lot of people because we're telling the tractor trailers here to be in the left lane. Most of the time, they stay in the right lane so that other people can pass.
Right.
Down here, we do have signs up that have the tractor trailer staying in the left lane, and people have asked about that. The reason that we're doing that is because the guide rail on the right side there, as they go around some of those corners, they've been hitting that guide rail and taking it out. So there's more space on the left side here on 81. So as Mike said, make sure you're following the signs. Sometimes you might look and think, well, I know a tractor trailer is supposed to be in the right, but it might be that the sign, for a reason, is keeping them in the left, and that's the case here on 81.
What is one of the biggest areas of concern for someone like you, Michael, with school happening and school starting?
Okay, well, we know that the sad news is summer's over.
Right.
And all the kids have to go back to school. Some start next week, some start after Labor Day. So we just want to make sure that you're aware that there's going to be school busing out there. They say most of the school buses go between 5:45 in the morning till about 4:15, 4:30 in the afternoon. So that's the time that the driver has to be aware of the school buses. Do not pass a school bus. Just be very careful out there and then follow the rules. And you know, if you there are fines for people that pass a school bus. But when the school buses stop with the flashing lights, the stop sign, make sure you follow the rules. I also like to say too is, and we found this an issue. Even if you're driving your kid to school, they still have to wear their seatbelt and be in the seat. See, we noticed that some of the parents will just throw their children in the front seat and not even put their seatbelt on. You still have to follow the child care, the safety seat.
And it's a booster seat too.
Right.
What is it, 8 and younger?
8 and younger, yes.
Okay. Is there like a weight limit as well for that?
Well, there are certain weight limits, yeah. There's different.
Okay.
You can get that information at justdrivepa.org. It gives you all the information on the safety seats.
Okay.
But that's another thing. When you're taking your kid to school, make sure you still use your safety seats and your seat belts.
That is very important. And we were also talking about another big project that PennDOT's going to be starting in correlation with the turnpike. You want to talk about that, James?
We are. Right now we're in the process of studying. One of the things that we've looked at is there's essentially too much traffic on Interstate 81, and in many ways there's not enough traffic on the turnpike. So we have a road here in northeastern Pennsylvania that's essentially overutilized, and we have one that's parallel to it in many ways that's underutilized. What they're looking at right now is building some high-speed interchanges. It would be, if you're on 81 northbound, you would just simply stay in a left lane or right lane. We're trying to work how we would do it, but you stay in a certain lane and you just keep going at 55 miles an hour through that interchange. It would automatically take a picture of your license plate, and it would allow people to move over and utilize the turnpike much more than they're doing right now. There's a number of reasons why people don't utilize the turnpike, but a lot of people don't use it because as you're going, you don't want to take the time to stop and to go out and to go down in Pittston or up in Clark Summit and go down and go up and get your wallet out and pay, and it just takes extra time. So by doing this is one step that we're looking at right now to help alleviate that time and move people over there to use the turnpike. Because as we look at 15, 20, 30-year forecasts, right now 81 is backed up and there's a lot of traffic on it. But we're trying to plan now for 20 years out. And so one of the things that we're doing is widening the road wherever we can and preparing for the possibility of we're widening bridges as we work on them, with the possibility of knowing that someday we'll probably have to widen Interstate 81. But that still, 20 years from now, won't take care of all the traffic. So this is another way that we're looking toward the future to see how it is that we can eliminate and alleviate some of the real bad traffic issues that we anticipate having on 81.
And we do. We have a lot of issues on 81 with traffic, and it bottlenecks at certain times of the day. People try to avoid it, but it looks like good things are happening for 81.
And one of the things that we do here on Interstate 81 is, for the most part, there's some rare exceptions, but for the most part, you'll notice that we're always doing, whenever we do construction out here, we maintain 2 lanes of traffic. We have a number of bridge projects that we're doing right now on 81. What we're doing with those is we actually build a 3rd lane right next to the bridge, and then we can use that new lane and one of the old lanes to put all the traffic on, and then we can go and repair or many times remove and replace the 3rd lane. Then we can move the traffic over to this new lane and that new lane and repair the middle, and we move traffic to this new lane, and repair the other side. So by building that third lane in, it allows us right now to be maintaining 2 lanes of traffic. But along with that, in the future, if there's ever the need to go back and do repairs, again, looking 30, 40, 50 years down the road, we can do that while maintaining 2 lanes of traffic. People get frustrated with the traffic. People get frustrated when, we get asked a lot of time, why can't you do the work simply at night? We do a lot of work at night. This week, the guys are out there doing some work on State Route 315, actually working on the 81 bridges, but that work will all take place at night. This week there was a ramp closure from State Route 315 south to 81 south. That took place at night. So there's a lot of work that takes place at night, but most of us are in bed during that time, so we don't even see it.
Right.
But there's other types of work that you really can't do at night. For example, right now and for the next 2 weeks, up just north of exit 190, like the main avenue between there and Clark Summit, the Viewmont Mall up to Clark Summit. That's a single lane southbound, but the reason that we can't simply do it at night is because they're literally going in and milling out the road, and they're taking away a good portion of the road to work on the base of the highway. And when the road's not there, you can't let people drive on a road that isn't there. So that's a 24/7 operation. So some operations, I know people look and say, can't you just do the work at night? But when you're doing this real deep base repair type of stuff, it's just not possible to do.
Well, that makes sense. And there's a lot of things that make sense, especially with back to school safety. We're going to be talking more about that coming up. I'm with PennDOT's James May and Michael Toludo. You're watching Northeast Current on the ION Network. My name is Holly Golembeski. We'll be right back.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Welcome back to Northeast Current. My name is James May, and we're here in one of our roundabouts, one of the 3 roundabouts that will be going into the Avoca Airport Interchange project. If you come back in about 15 months, this area right here will be a very busy area with cars coming in, and some of us will be learning how to do roundabouts. It's not quite as complicated as you may think, but this will be the entryway if you're coming on 81 South and you want to go up to the airport, or you want to go to William Street. You'll be coming right through where we are here. Behind me is, you can begin to see it shaping up, is the roundabout. You'll be coming in this way, and you'll stay to the right, and you can either go to William Street or continue on to another roundabout that will be up that way. We want to talk with Karen, one of our inspectors here, with our consulting team. Karen, can you tell us a little bit about, first of all, how far are we in this project as far as percentages? Where do we stand right now, and where do we look as far as cost dollars as well?
The project currently had a calendar days of 885, and we're currently 436 days into the project.
So a little over halfway, is that what we're looking at?
We're 49% complete on the project.
Okay, all right.
And our anticipated completion date is November of 2015. And the project current contract amount was $42 million.
Okay.
And we currently paid to date $13.5 million of that.
Okay. So we're a little over between $40 and $50 million when it's all said and done. So it's obviously a very big project. This is one of the bigger ones that we're doing here in District 4. And I think it's, quite frankly, it's one of the most exciting because you can actually see some new things happening. Many times we go into an old bridge and you take a bridge out, you replace the bridge, and you spend a few $million, and from the public standpoint it essentially looks the same. This is looking very, very different. And Mike is also one of our PennDOT inspectors. I say it's looking different. I guess first of all, what I'm standing on now, this is not the final pave, correct? What is this that I'm on right now?
This is the base course of asphalt. It will have 3 more layers of asphalt. They'll bring it up level with these forms you see behind us. Those forms are forms for a concrete shoulder that'll be poured in the center.
So the forms over here, those, it's going to go up that high. So that'll be the finish elevation of it. Okay, so about another 10 inches or so?
Approximately 10 inches of more of asphalt. And then the center will be concrete. That's done with concrete because the trucks turning radiuses might affect that area as the center shoulder.
And I assume concrete holds up better under the weight of trucks and when they're turning. Is that the logic?
I think that is the theory.
Okay.
But generally the center of the radiuses they've been doing in concrete.
Do it. Okay. And this is the first of 3 roundabouts that we will come into, right? This is the one that, and we come into this one, and then you can take this to William Street or continue up to the next one.
The next roundabout will be the intersection with 315 and the ramp to go to 81 South.
Okay.
And 315 to the airport. And then following 315 towards the airport, you'll run into another roundabout, which will intersect with the ramp from 81 northbound and the ramp to 81 to go to 81 northbound and the airport, and also the Navy Way Road, which will connect to the industrial park.
Okay, we're taking that road and extending it all the way back to the industrial park right now, and it will actually go under the light towers
the former location of the light towers.
The former location, yeah. So it's going to go right underneath that, all the way back to an industrial park. So it's some really exciting things that are happening here. Can you explain to me, as I'm looking at this, what are these green, I don't know what to call them, green things, I guess, on the road back there?
They're dowel bars, sometimes called load transfer units.
Okay, and what is the purpose of those?
They match up with where the joints will be in the concrete shoulder.
Okay.
So to transfer the load from one slab to the next.
All right.
So for uniformity, and allow them to expand or contract.
There's so much stuff that goes into building a road like this. Obviously the planning and the design, but even getting down into what goes underneath the concrete, that in a year and a half from now, cars will be coming through here, looking at, driving through here and not giving a second thought to the base repair that's down, to the, what do you call them? They're the
load transfer units.
Load transfer units, all of this type of thing. We drive through and don't give a second thought to all of this aspect of the planning and the work that goes into this. But I'm going to say, as we look at the numbers, where you guys are as far as the time, as far as the cost, what's happening here I think is just phenomenal. And the other thing, let me just say to the whole crew of you, when we first started talking about this project, one of the big concerns was that we would be down here tying up all the traffic on 81. When people heard we were building this, I heard different people in the media and the public saying, oh, 81's going to be a mess. And I've got to commend you guys because you've kept 2 lanes open. I don't know if there's been any closures of any lanes up there for planned work.
There has been some night shift work.
So that's all been done.
Necessary. Yes.
But it's been very little impact on the traffic, and to be able to do a job like this and have essentially very, very minimal impact on the traffic, I think is just phenomenal, and some really good things happening here. If you have questions on this project or any other projects that we're doing here at PennDOT, or if you would like some more information on some of the safety programs that we have, you can contact me or Mike Toludo. My direct email is jamay@pa.gov. That's jamay@pa.gov. The phone number is 570-963-4044, and we'd be happy to try to answer any questions or to give you further information on some of the safety programs that we have coming up. But for now, on behalf of Michael Toludo and everybody at PennDOT, thank you for joining us here on Northeast Current.
So, Doug, I know that your story I've heard before, and it's a very horrific story that you've taken and you've turned into something very positive. So if you'd like to tell our viewers your story and how Brakes was actually founded.
Well, sure. In 2008, my 2 sons were killed in a car accident, and John was 17, James was 13, and it changed my life. And I decided that, before that, I didn't really know that teenage driving accidents was the #1 thing that kills our teenagers. Between 5,000 to 6,000 teenagers every year are killed in car accidents. And I decided that I was going to try and do something about it. And so I started this charity, nonprofit organization now that we do the teenage driving program, and it's called Brakes. And Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe is the acronym, and my son's friends came up with that. and the website is putonthebrakes.org. Since we founded it in 2008, we've trained over 12,000 teenagers from 28 states, and now we've got a great partner with Kia Cars. We've got fleets of vehicles around the country so we can run simultaneous programs in different states all around the country, and we're going to try and train about 4,000 kids this year. And, the program's really growing, and it's really neat to watch because the kids come in. Typically, they're not real excited about being there, They figure, well, I've already had driver's ed. I don't need to do this. What are you doing this to me for? Because we require the parents to come. And so it's kind of, they don't really want to be there, but about an hour after they've been there, all of a sudden the whole mood changes, and, they realize that they're learning something, they're having a good time. And most of our instructors are really, really good. Like they would, they teach like the Secret Service guys that drive the president, or they teach state troopers defensive driving. They do TV commercials for like Kia and BMW and that kind of thing. So they're really, really good. And I learn something every time that I go, and that's why we require the parents to go to the classes as well, because, let's face it, the teenagers, when they get in the car and start driving, they've already been watching us drive for 16 years, so we can just hope that we're giving them, that we've given them some good, some good information as the time goes on.
What's the name of the website, Doug?
The website is putonthebrakes.org, and so anybody could go there, learn about it. We've got schedules on there for a lot of the classes that we have coming up this year, all around the country, and the school's free. There's no cost to the school. It's, we're having a big gala down here in North Carolina, which is our main fundraiser for the year. And we're auctioning off like sideline tickets, like stand with Coach Rivera at the Panthers game, and that's one of the auction items. And then I know we've got I think we've got a 1-year lease on a Kia car, and we've got a whole bunch of really neat auction items. So it's going to be it'll be a fun time, and that's really what raises the money up so we can continue and offer this program for free. The bottom line is the charity is in existence because we care about these kids, and I don't want other families and other teenagers and other parents to go through the grief that I've went through losing my boys, and we're just trying to make a difference.
How many schools are you up to nationwide now?
This year we're going to have 100 schools.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
I think when I first interviewed you, you might have been at maybe 50 or 55. So you're really expanding, and you said Kia's on board now too.
The support that we get from the community. Brian Williams from NBC Nightly News did a really neat story earlier in the year about brakes, and there's a link to that on the website. So anybody that could go to Put on the Brakes, they can learn. They can go watch that Brian Williams story, which is really, really good. Just so
How much
many
does it
things.
cost?
The school's free. There's no, it's a charity. We do fundraising and we seek donations and all that to put on the school, but the school's free. Right. We ask people once they come, and if they see a value in what we're doing, we hope that they'll find it in their heart to leave us a donation so that we can continue to grow the program.
Right.
But we don't want to limit anybody to come.
Right, sure. I know it's a free program, but like if somebody wanted to sponsor a child, how much would it cost somebody if I wanted to sponsor, a teenager to go to your school, how much would I have to donate? Well, what we say, we call it a key for brakes, and it's, the key for brakes is $300, and so $300 is what the expense is for us to put a teenager through the school and do the whole program for them. Wow. Which includes everything. I mean, we provide the vehicles for the parents and the teenagers, and all the, all the information, the instructors. Basically, all they need to do is show up with shoes and shirt on, and off they go. Well, now that school's back in session, there's going to be a lot more teenagers on the road. What's one of the main things that you would actually tell our viewers and recommend if they have a teenager driving? What would you tell them to tell their child? Well, what I would tell them is that there's this really neat advanced driving program that is not driver's ed, because we don't, teenagers don't really necessarily need driver's ed anymore if they've already got their license.
But what we
Right.
do is not driver's ed, and it's an advanced training. And the things that we teach them are the kind of defensive driving maneuvers that the Secret Service, that the state police, the state troopers, TV, stunt drivers, these things that are that you only learn right before you get into an accident. We're trying to learn, we're trying to teach them all these things before they get into that position so they can avoid the accident. And the thing that we hear almost every day, because we get emails and letters almost every day from parents and teenagers saying, hey, I could hear that brakes instructor yelling in my ear telling me what to do. And
Oh, great.
That's really what makes it all worthwhile.
You're a wonderful person, wonderful human being, and you've got a great program that you started from a tragedy, trying to turn it into something that can actually help people. Do you have any schools in the Poconos yet? I know there's one in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we've had up there at Mannheim, and then just also outside of Pittsburgh, and I can't think of the city, but yeah, we've done it there. We're working on it. You know, it's just a matter of getting local support for, to do that fundraising, because it's, that's really the biggest thing to hold us back is just fundraising. We've got the infrastructure and the instructors in place and the vehicles in place, and so we've got pretty much everything in place. It's just having the money to continue to expand the program. So that's why we work, the hardest job that we do is fundraising. I appreciate you having me on, and just really appreciate your support, and hopefully we'll be back up to Pennsylvania and everywhere around the country soon. And our goal is to eventually be able to train every teenager so that they can all have the skills and ability to avoid accidents.
And that would be wonderful. And before we leave you today, there's something else that we would like to address. Labor Day is coming up, and it's one of the most traveled times of the year. I'm also here with PennDOt interns Samantha Antosh, and Mike's back. Mike, what should we expect from Labor Day?
The bad news is the summer's over.
Yes.
And the holiday coming up is Labor Day. And we know that everybody's going back to school and doing things, and they want to get one more event in before the summer's over. So we just recommend that you be careful. Local policemen are going to be out there, local police departments will be out there doing DUI checks.
Okay.
So it's very critical that you do not drink and drive. So if you're out having one more party, if you're out on your boat, the weather hasn't been that great, but it's still nice to take your boat out. That's also an issue, drinking on your boat, out on the water. So we just want you to be careful this Labor Day. We do not want you to be part of a statistic, and it's just do not drink and drive. And also, too, if you're out there, take your time and make sure you buckle up and you wear your seatbelt. Just be careful out there and have a good time and enjoy the end of the summer. It's too bad the summer's coming to an end. And we're losing our intern, Samantha Antosh. She's got to go back to school.
Where do you go?
Marywood.
Oh, that's where I went too. Well, congratulations. And thank you for watching us today. I'd also like to say thank you so much to one of my good friends, NHRA Hall of Famer Doug Herbert, and the Brakes program. My name is Holly Golembeski for Northeast Current on the ION Network. We'll see you next week.
Well, you going to do the board?
We should do one of the Peach Festival people.
My name is Holly Golembeski, and we're here. Yes. I told you I'd do that.
Okay. I would do the same thing.
All the time.
Okay. Got to get these guys in, too.
We're back.
Okay. I could talk, but when I get on TV, I get nervous.
Oh, stop. Just picture everybody in their underwear.